So let me ask you this. What is your educational background?
Well, I have the good fortune of having gone to a small Catholic college in Buffalo called Canisius. And it was at a time when the Jesuits were still men and not kind of New Age fairies. And I got a very good education in common sense, and a very good education in terms of learning the importance of analogy. Not to the extent that the analogy blinds you to some things that are not transferable over the centuries or over the millennia, but to know what hasn't worked in the past and what has. And so I did a master's degree there. I went up the road to Niagara Falls in New York and went to another, this was a Franciscan college, and did a degree in American history, a master's degree at Niagara University. And then I couldn't afford to go to school in the United States. I couldn't find a university that was anywhere near my means. So I went to Canada. I went to the University of Manitoba in Winnipeg. At that time, they had a socialist government, or what passes then for a socialist government in Canada, and they gave the same rate to domestic people and to foreign scholars, or foreign students rather. And so I did a PhD there, and then I was in a position of I needed to get a little money for travel and research, and because I was an American there, and the level went up to the federal government in Canada, they wouldn't give me any money. And because I was attending a Canadian university, I couldn't get any money from people here in the United States, organizations that do that. And so I went to Ottawa to a place called Carleton University, and I did a master's degree in British Empire, and I completed my doctoral thesis when I was there. So I had kind of a checkered international, or at least North American education, but it got the job done. I can't figure to this day any other way to have done it.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because I remember you, I think, was it referred to the White Dominions?
Yes, that's what my field was, the so-called White Dominions, which of course included South Africa at the time, from 1855 to the end of the interwar period, 1939.
You know, to me, when I think about your background, you know, I wouldn't say it's multidisciplinary, but the fact that you're not just studying the United Kingdom, but or not United Kingdom, but you're studying the mainland surrounded by satellites, and to me that sounds like almost that really prepped you for focusing on Islamic terrorism, considering how spread out it is. Would that be fair to say?
Well, I think in some ways it is fair to say, but the other thing. I didn't come to work for the agency until I was 29. So I had what turned out to be a great gift, but during the time I didn't realize it. I worked for Union Carbide in a factory where we made gas separation plants. I was a rigger and a crane operator and a lift truck operator. And I learned to get along with very many different people from different races, and learned how they thought and how they reacted to me, or I reacted to them. And I think that that's one of the main things that prepares you for doing the work I did, in that you have to listen to the person who's talking to you, whether it's a friend or an enemy. And you have to take it in the first instance until it's proved otherwise to be him or her telling you the truth. And the most wonderful thing about the Islamists, if I can say such a thing, is that they, especially bin Laden, but his senior lieutenants also, were explicit in what they intended to do, why they intended to do it, and why, no matter how long it took, if we kept doing the things they found offensive, they would resist, kind of to the last man and the last bullet. So I tend to think that the spread out problem is a physical manifestation of the problem, but the real problem for the Americans is that no one in this town, in Washington, in tremendous spectrum of the academy, paid any attention to what he said. And frankly, over the course of my working full time on it through the books and through the agency, I bet 75% of the things he said he tried to do or did, which compared to any American politician is extraordinary.
Astronomical.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to the podcast. If you like this content and want to hear other things like it, head on over to the website at blackmarketleadership.com. That's blackmarketleadership.com. There you can subscribe to the podcast, and you can even create a free members profile